From the Van Aken District Market Hall in downtown Shaker Heights, we are the Fabulous Boomer Boys.
Hey.
I'm Bob Snyder. This is my friend from the 4th grade, Bruce Bogart. And we want to welcome you to what is now a program that is, I guess the only way to do it is it's official. We are the #1 baby boomer broadcast on webcast on YouTube in Northeast Ohio. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
All right. 10,000 hits that we know of, because we can't keep track of all of them, but according to YouTube, we've had 10,000 hits, and we hope all of you will continue to be part of that and watch us, besides the people that are here today.
Sounds good.
Sound good, Bruce? Okay.
So what'd you do today?
I voted.
All right.
All right. We have a real diverse audience tonight as far as age group here. Did the young people vote? I've got to ask the young people in the audience.
They don't know they're young.
They don't know they're young? All
I
right.
have no idea.
Because you didn't vote. We have a baby boomer. What about the rest of you? Give us a little hand if you voted. The thumbs up. Can you get that, Tyler? Tyler, get these people from the front instead of the back. They want to see themselves on television. All right. So, I don't want to forget, we've got a great guest tonight, but in 2 weeks, we have somebody that's a little different in that they are the Plain Dealer travel editor, Susan Glazer, and she's going to talk about some places you might want to go for the holidays and some places she's going to suggest you don't want to go for the holidays. So I think it's going to be a very interesting program.
You know, you've done a lot of traveling in your lifetime.
I've done my share.
Yeah, much more than me.
Well, you're afraid of some of the
I'm not
methods
afraid.
of transportation.
I frown upon them. It's not that I'm afraid of them.
Okay. So,
But
and your point being?
No point, Bob. I just wanted to get involved in the conversation.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks for showing up. All right. So she also is going to be talking about the airport. If anybody's been to the airport lately, it's just a huge mess, and it's going to get worse because they're going to be doing some fixing up with it. And she's been writing articles about it. It was even a front page story a couple weeks ago. So I'm really looking forward to Susan being here.
2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks from tonight.
Right here.
For here at the Van Aken Center, but it'll be, of course, on Wednesday nights we're on YouTube.
Fair enough.
Right? Fair enough. Okay, let's get to our guest.
Okay, let's
right?
go.
Now, we've had this fella on before, and he promised us when he wrote his next book that he would come back. Marty Gitlin is a freelance writer. He's an author of more than 100 books. Who's got time to write 1 or 2 books? Marty has written over 100 books. Many awards for his writing, including he's won first place for general excellence in journalism from the Associated Press. That's a pretty big deal, I think, in anybody's book. And here's the important thing. He went to Brush High School, a Brush High graduate. All right. For those of you that didn't know, that's where Bruce and I went to high school. Anyway.
He's the only Brush grad now living in North Olmsted. I can't figure that out at all.
What happened to Lyndhurst, Marty?
Where'd you go wrong?
All right, well, we'll ask him about that. But here's the reason he's on tonight. He wrote a book. It is an unauthorized autobiography titled Kyrie Irving, Uncle Drew, Little Mountain, and Enigmatic, did I say that?
Enigmatic
NBA superstar. And the first question we're going to ask him is, what does enigmatic mean? Anyway, everybody, please welcome Marty Gitlin. Hey, Marty.
Hey, don't pal.
All right, Marty.
You'll notice that I dressed up nicer today.
Yeah, last time Marty was here, wore a T-shirt. I don't know what he thought it was on radio. He thought it was a podcast. This is a webcast, Marty.
I'm working my way up to a suit and tie.
Okay.
Eventually, I'll get there.
Eventually. All right. Here's the book. Give us the title. Tell us a little bit about why it's titled this.
Well, it's called Kyrie Irving, but you don't spell out colon. Uncle Drew, Little Mountain, and enigmatic NBA superstar. And the enigmatic that you mentioned, I think, is the most important word in the title, because both on the court and off the court, he's a very, very difficult person to figure out. And that's what I kind of try to get into throughout the book, was how enigmatic he was, mysterious in a lot of ways. He is both as a player and as a person.
All right, we got to get right to the one important point, and that is that you didn't get permission, not that you need it, but you didn't get that from Kyrie, and nor did you get any help from him or any of his people, right? In fact, it was worse than that. Tell everybody.
Yeah, it was a little
let's
bit
give
worse than
everybody
that.
the scoop now before all the other radio stations, TV stations in Cleveland grab you.
Well,
let's
there
tell
you go.
everybody here what happened.
Well, I was actually I was eating lunch one day, and at home, and I got a call, and the caller ID said Jeff Wexler, and I was like, oh my God, that is Kyrie Irving's agent.
Is it Wexman or Wexler?
Wexler.
Wexler. Okay.
He is no longer his agent, by the way. And his agent, and so I got the phone, and his agent said he didn't want me writing the book. He found out that I was trying to interview people that Kyrie knew, and he said, I don't want you writing this book. He said, we control the narrative on Kyrie Irving. What I didn't say back to him was that I didn't call it BS, which is exactly what it was, because as soon as Kyrie Irving got good enough to become in the public eye, even at the high school level, the media controls the narrative of Kyrie Irving. It's uncontrollable. That's just the way it is. So anyway, I said, well, I'm still going to be writing the book. He was not nasty. He was just firm that he didn't want me to write the book. I said, well, I'm going to be writing it anyway. He said, well, you're not going to be talking to Kyrie, and I'm going to try to get everyone that knows him that you might want to interview to not talk to you.
Did you wind up hitting a brick wall with some people?
No, not really. I thought that really what that allowed me to do is become more objective in my writing, a little bit more critical. I tried to be as objective as possible, but a little bit more critical about Kyrie Irving, and talk to media people that covered him. I talked to Bill Livingston of the Plain Dealer.
Right, you got a number.
I talked to a lot of different media people at a national and local level, and a lot of them were quite negative toward about Kyrie, their experiences covering Kyrie Irving.
I just want to say this real quickly. I've read the book, Bruce. Anyway, and in the book, at the back of the book here, you've got it documented pretty well. Because I just want to show you for the sake of that, the conversations you had with these people. So this is not made up stuff. It's not fake news as we're hearing about all the time. You've got it documented when you talk to these people and who they were and quoted. So this is the real thing here that you've got about Kyrie.
Yeah, all the way. And the thing about, and I really, really explored about Kyrie Irving as a player is that, and I tried to get a little bit deeper than basketball or sports itself, but there's a big difference between, in my view, between talent and greatness. Kyrie Irving is among the most talented players in the NBA. In fact, he's probably the best ball handler and finisher in the NBA. But is he a great player? Does he raise the level of performance of his teammates? Does he play inspired, passionate defense? No, he doesn't. He's a one-dimensional talent, incredible talent. And you wonder when he talks about wanting to win championships and wanting to become, one of the greatest players of all time, why he doesn't focus on other aspects of his game. And then we can talk all you want about his off the court stuff, because that's
Well, Marty, I've got to say one example of what you're saying is the other night he scored 50 points, which is, how many guys ever do that other than LeBron, Michael Jordan, and Wilt Chamberlain? Scored 50 points and his team lost.
Right, and he was on the Boston Celtics, as you might know, the last 2 seasons. He missed some games because of injury, and the Celtics actually performed better without him. They reached the Eastern Conference Finals in the year that he did not play when he was hurt, and last year when he was healthy in the playoffs, they got eliminated early in the round before that. And there's something. Basketball, there's only 5 guys on the floor. Chemistry is exceptionally important in basketball, and there's something, and it goes back to this enigmatic part. There's something about Kyrie Irving in terms of chemistry that just doesn't click. The Celtics, as I've talked to some people, the Celtics players, a lot of them were very, very glad to see him go.
Okay, I got to ask you this. Why him? Why write a book about him? I mean, I've never heard one kind thing about him off the court. I mean, isn't this the guy that says the earth is flat? Right?
Yeah,
He says the earth is flat.
Yes.
I mean, why write a book about a clown like this?
you know, he's a fascinating guy, and that's just more about the enigmatic part. He's an intelligent guy. He's well-spoken. He went to Duke. He's very thoughtful, and yet he comes out and claims that you know, and he didn't like flat out say, well, he did actually. He did say that the Earth was flat. He claimed that maybe dinosaurs didn't exist. He claimed that maybe that we never went to the moon.
He said the Federal Reserve killed Kennedy.
Right. Right. No, Bob Marley. Oh, he
No,
yeah. He
Bob
said,
Marley.
he said the
Somebody
CIA.
else. CIA got Marley.
CIA got Marley.
CIA got
right.
Bob Marley.
He was really into all these
Do
conspiracy
you think the
theories.
millennials know who Bob Marley is?
I don't even know who Bob Marley
You
is.
don't know. You don't know. There we go. Max
go.
knows who Bob Marley is. Yeah. Jamaican.
Oh, he's a druggie.
Yeah, he
No,
was
he's
a
not a
reggae.
He's
He
Jamaican.
was
all
a
right.
reggae superstar.
All right, wait. Before we get more into that, I think part of this, and I enjoyed reading at the beginning of the book where you talk about his father, for example, what a
Yes.
big influence.
Yes.
This is another thing that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. His father, and his nickname was
Dredrick. His real name was Dredrick.
Dredrick.
Yes.
They called him Dred. He was the all-time leading scorer at Boston
University. Yes.
I was at college. Those Boston schools are all the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
You know.
But Boston College is a Catholic school. He was at BU.
He was a BU.
Yeah, he was a BU.
So he was the all-time leading scorer there.
Right.
And then he never really made it in the NBA.
He had one tryout with the Celtics and it bombed.
Yeah. So he went to
didn't fit in.
Australia, and in Australia, I love this. You know what team he played for? This is something that we could relate to. The Boleyn Boomers.
Yay!
Yeah, cool. The
Yes,
Boleyn
and that's actually where Kyrie Irving was born when they were in Australia. And you know, the thing with Kyrie also is that you got to keep in mind his mother died when he was 4 years old. He is very.
She was a Sioux Indian.
She was half Sioux Indian,
Sioux
right,
Indian.
and half black.
Can't say Indian anymore.
Again, Native American.
Half Native American, right? Half African American, and he's very into self-exploration. Kyrie Irving is. He wants to know more about his past. He wants to know more about himself. He wants to learn about himself. I think there's a lot of admirable things to say about Kyrie Irving. He's not just, as you said last time I was on here, he's not a piece of you know what.
I called him that?
Yes, you did. You said he's a piece of
You did
piece
call
of
him
you know
that,
what.
which is
And,
not fair. It's
Well,
not
this shows
fair.
growth on my part. I haven't said that tonight.
You haven't said
Okay.
that tonight.
All right.
But he's just a very, very difficult person to figure out, and I tried to explore everything about Kyrie Irving to you know bring a little bit of light to his life and his career.
Well, and I'm going to go back to his father also, just for a second. He was a very motivated man in the business world. He was on Wall Street. We've got a stockbroker here tonight, Stan Grossman. Kyrie's dad was a bond trader on Wall Street. You just can't become a bond trader on Wall Street because you know somebody. I mean, so he actually and did very well there. He's done very well.
And his influence on Kyrie was very, very positive. There's never been, you know, and I talked to some people, there was never been anything negative to say about Dredrick Irving and the way he has brought up, you know, his kids, Asia and Kyrie. He is a wonderful father, very supportive, and Kyrie Irving is just absolutely, you know, passionately has a lot of love for his dad and respect for his dad. But Kyrie Irving is not like his father. There are a lot of differences in personality and motivation between the two.
All right, so what about this thing where he says there were no dinosaurs?
He talked about how he was into conspiracy theories. He just bought into all of them at the same time. And he came out and claimed them all to be true. You know, the earth is flat, dinosaurs never existed, we never went to the moon. You know, the Bob Marley thing is
Bruce, for a
science.
while,
Yeah.
did you believe we went to the moon, Bruce, when we first did that?
Yes, Bob, I'm a veteran. I understand what it's about.
Okay. Sorry.
By the way,
That's not what he's told me off the record.
That he didn't believe we went to the moon?
of course
Well,
we
he-
went to the moon.
You know, he felt it was movies made and stuff. I have to tell you, I had growing up, unlike Bruce, we had a domestic cleaning lady. I guess I'm always worried with the millennials here, I'll use the wrong word. But anyway, she did not believe it. She said it was all filmed and it was fake. But that was, you know, like 50 years ago. Yeah. But I think by now most people believe we went to the moon.
I don't remember ever hearing that anybody saying that we didn't go to the moon until many years later. It became like a conspiracy theory. I thought maybe like in the 90s or something. I don't remember anyone in the in 1969 or the 70s or whatever saying this was a big fake.
Well,
but maybe there was. Maybe I just don't remember.
Well, the other thing about Kyrie that was funny is that he just felt like he could say anything he wants to say, because after we've been to the moon a number of times, people have been there. Kyrie, when he talks about that, says, "How come that's the only time we've ever been to the moon?" Right?
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, if he,
No, I mean,
he
the whole
doesn't, he doesn't give the true
thing
facts.
is so absurd that you have what can you say? I mean, what can you say except for the guy just the motivation for him saying things like that. You wonder about. You wonder if he really, an intelligent man, a learned person like Kyrie Irving, really believed it.
Did you?
And you just don't know.
I gotta interrupt you because I don't want to forget to ask you this. Did you reach out to LeBron James?
No, I didn't. It was pretty obvious that anyone that had ever been associated with Kyrie Irving, that his agent knew or that he knew, were not going to talk to me. But I did. I got a lot of quotes about LeBron James.
Yeah, there's
LeBron James.
You've got a lot of LeBron
I got a
quotes
lot of
in here.
LeBron quotes. I got a lot of quotes from a lot of the people he played with, and that's all I really needed. I mean, I didn't need to ask LeBron James anything in particular about Kyrie Irving that he was going to tell me that he hasn't said to somebody else. So it wasn't needed.
I think we need to say this though. It's not like he's an awful person, Kyrie. At least I don't get that from reading your book. It's more the.
He's enigmatic.
Yes,
right.
yeah.
That word I can't say.
That was the most important word in the title.
He has such a passion for what he does well. He has such a passion for ball handling and faking out defenders and going to the basket and shooting and hitting, scoring with English off the backboard. He does things that nobody else can do. Nobody, I think, in the NBA has better handles than Kyrie Irving. But he doesn't have a passion for other aspects of the game, and that's why he's never been first team All NBA. He made second team All NBA last year for the first time. He had never been above third team before last year.
That's amazing.
And he's in his 9th season. And here's a guy who's unbelievable. Who remembers a pitcher the Indians had named Sam McDowell?
We all do.
Everyone remembers Sam McDowell.
Except for that table over there.
Can you get a shot of the millennials there? They don't know Sam McDowell. Hey, see, look at that.
Reggie Jackson once said in a Sports Illustrated article, Sam McDowell has the best fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup I have ever seen. Yet, he was a .500 pitcher. He was an incredibly talented pitcher. Sam McDowell was kind of a weird duck, but alcoholism played a role in this, of course. But Sam McDowell was kind of a weird duck. He said he equated being the most talented pitcher with being the greatest pitcher, and it's the same thing with Kyrie Irving. It's just not true. The talent doesn't always equate to greatness. Talent plus passion for all aspects of what you do, that's what equates to greatness. And Kyrie Irving doesn't have the passion for all aspects of basketball. He has a passion for being a great scorer, an offensive player, and dribbler, and finisher, and everything like that. Everything related to that. But he doesn't have a passion for defense and raising the level of performance of his teammates. And that's why there's a chemistry issue. That's why his teammates don't always like him. And that's why he is not able to take a team on his back and raise them to greatness, raise them to championship status. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to be the alpha dog when he went to Boston, and it didn't work out. Now he's going to the Nets, and he's not going to be the alpha dog there when Kevin Durant comes back, and so we'll never know. It seems like it's obvious to me that Kyrie Irving is never going to be a player who could be the best player on a championship team. It's not. I don't think that could even happen.
By the way, did you get his autograph?
I don't think his. He's changed agents, by the way. Jeff Wexler's no longer his agent, but I don't think if Kyrie Irving ends up reading this book, it was. By the way, this book, an excerpt of this book just ran in the New York Daily News.
Oh, hey, that's pretty good.
So that was pretty good. I was real happy with that.
Just within the last week or so.
Just in a week ago.
So
Sunday.
we got the scoop right here tonight on Kyrie Irving and on the book.
News.
We don't want to give away the rest of the whole book.
You're talking about the difference between greatness and talent, and someone and I know you've done. Thank you, and you wrote my favorite book of those that I've read of yours is the book about the top 100 sitcoms. I think it was 70, maybe whatever the number was.
Yeah, 70 greatest.
Although you and I have disagreements about that,
Sure.
passionate disagreements, but some of those great sitcoms were driven by the second bananas, as they used to call them.
Yeah.
Not the best talent, but they brought an intangible, and it worked.
For example.
Well, I think of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Maury Amsterdam.
Yeah,
You're
Maury
talking about
Amsterdam.
right?
And Rosemarie.
Right.
They drove the show.
I think
I thought George Costanza has a big part of Seinfeld.
I didn't think any.
I didn't want to say a show that millennials have watched.
Right. I don't think any.
They haven't even watched that. They're so young.
Oh, they've seen Seinfeld.
Have you heard of Seinfeld?
You see Seinfeld?
Yeah,
Get a
sure.
shit.
They didn't watch it first time around.
Not when it first came on, but now they.
I don't think any individual drove Seinfeld because I think the whole cast was just incredible. But I think I ranked the greatest male and female sitcom characters of all time, and Seinfeld. I have George Costanza ranked as the greatest sitcom male character of all time.
What about Fred and Ethel Mertz?
I love Fred Mertz.
Yeah,
I like Ethel too. I love
Stan,
Fred
you
Mertz.
watch
I love
that.
all
You
those
watch
shows.
I Love
Yeah.
Lucy. You know Fred and Ethel Mertz.
And I thought like the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I thought that Rhoda and Sue Ann Nivens. I thought those were the funny.
They were great.
And Ted Baxter. I thought those were the funniest characters on that show. Not Mary Tyler Moore.
No, she was not. She was not funny.
She was a little bit more of a straight person.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah.
Goes
The
back to
funny
what
character.
Jerry Lewis said. Women just aren't funny.
Look at. Yeah.
Oh no!
No,
Don't stop.
We don't
Don't
go
get now.
there.
You're really gonna get
You
into
don't wanna
trouble.
go there.
Connie, he
It
didn't
was,
mean that. He didn't mean that.
Look at, you know what? Look at Gracie, and even in his time, look at Gracie Allen. Gracie Allen, Burns and Allen show. Gracie Allen was a riot, and it was right during the time that Jerry Lewis said that.
Now you're even getting too old for
Yeah,
me.
it's good. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I researched that. That was a
Did
little
you
bit more of a
know? Here's a
research.
little known fact. Not that anybody out here cares.
We're having a good time. Who
George,
cares? Right.
George Burns and Gracie Allen were married in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
well,
Thank you. I guess I'm right.
Where?
Yeah.
Fairmount Temple?
No.
right.
Everything's a joke to you, Bob. I don't.
All right, wait. Here's a book that you've written because we're starting to. This is going fast, isn't it? This time,
Yeah,
our half
yeah.
hour. Okay. Here's a book that's been. This is one of his bestsellers, and I actually got this for both of my boys. I have two children, that are two boy children. The Ultimate Cleveland Indians Time Machine book. This has everything and anything you can imagine about the Cleveland Indians, and it really brings you up to say, now both of my boys live out of town now, and this way they can give their children this book to read and learn about it. It's like looking up your ancestors, right?
Well, the book I like is this book, and you guys might want to read this book. It'll be a historical book for you guys. It's called The Baby Boomer Encyclopedia, okay? But it's about us.
Right.
All right, well, give us, what's in this book? That book, it's
Everything,
one of the
everything.
few books I haven't read. He only wrote 100 books. I couldn't read them all by the showtime.
Bob, no pictures.
Oh,
No
forget
pictures.
it.
No pictures.
He's got pictures in here. You go. He's got pictures in this book with the Kyrie.
Right.
I'll find him. Go ahead. Tell us what that book's about.
The Baby Boomer Encyclopedia is everything related to baby boomers back in our era and today. Every subject matter, every famous individual that affected the baby boomer generation, every event that affected the baby boomer generation, and whether it was then or now, and how it's affecting the baby boomer generation. And that's what that book is. It's encyclopedia A to Z. There's about 100 different, maybe more, maybe 150 different subjects in there. That's all baby boomer related, and it's really a fun book. I was real proud of that. That's one of the first books that I ever wrote. I think it came out in 2011. It was more for, obviously for adults and baby boomers. Than I've written a lot of books for students and kids, but this was not one of them.
Have you heard the expression, "Oh boomer"?
Oh, boomer?
Oh boomer. People here heard that expression? Oh,
I've
boomer?
never heard that.
Okay. Well, I've been being an aficionado of baby boomer things. This is what millennials now say to baby boomers when something happens. Okay, I see some people shaking their heads out in the audience there. When something happens and a baby boomer says it to a young person, like I've been kidding tonight with some of the millennials here, and then they go, "Oh boomer," and that's their kind of sarcastic way.
Like it's an eye roll kind of thing?
Yes, yes. So that's, you know.
But
Should I tell that to everybody?
I never heard that.
But I don't want to go back too much, but I want to add one more thing about the Kyrie Irving book because I thought people would be interested.
Yeah, well, you
in
want to sell it. How do we get a copy?
Well, you get a copy from me, first of all. But the thing with also, and that everyone's interested in, is why he left the Cavaliers, and he spoke a lot of he spoke a lot about that in interviews, and he talked and he talked and he talked and he said nothing that anyone could really decipher. He was on ESPN, and he went on, and they said, "What? You obviously had a problem being a second banana, second fiddle to LeBron James, and that's why you left." And he denied that. He said, "I don't even know what second fiddle means." And it was like, and one of the ESPN guys was like, "You know exactly what second fiddle means, and that's why you left the Cavaliers, is because you wanted to try to be the alpha dog and hoist the team on your back. And why don't you just come out and say it?" And it was all gobbledygook in this interview. We did an interview with Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman on ESPN, and it was all gobbledygook. He talked and he talked. He said nothing. And Max and Will Kane came on, one of the ESPN guys, and just tore him a new you-know-what about how he was trying to explain himself, and he was doing such a terrible job of it.
Apparently I was right at the other episode.
that?
Apparently I was right what I said about him in the last show.
About Kyrie? Yeah, I mean, he just did not want to come out and say, he just did not want to come out and say, I want to be the alpha dog of a team, and that's my goal. And he talked about wanting to win a championship, and one of the teams that he said he wanted to go to was Phoenix. Now, Phoenix is eons away from winning a championship, but he could go there and be the alpha dog. He could go there and be the big fish in a small pond. Well, that was his, obviously his goal there. But there's a lot of positive things that I wrote about Kyrie Irving. It wasn't just a hatchet job in this book. It was I tried to be as objective as I could about the positive things in his life and his career, and the negative things as I perceive them.
Before we cut things off, because I know we're running short.
Right.
Marty, I want you to write a book.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you who I want you to write it on. I want you to give us real consideration, because I think this guy has Kyrie Irving syndrome. I've diagnosed it.
All right.
Baker Mayfield.
Well, here's what happened. I pitched a book about Baker Mayfield to my agent, and about the turnaround of the Cleveland Browns.
But they're not turning around.
After game one, the agent says, "Well, so much for that idea." Okay. After the opener, I was like, because I was pretty sure that, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I was pretty sure that they would be a lot better than this. And so the agent said, "Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens the rest of the year." And they've been a mess. I'm even thinking about writing a book called The Big Tease about this season, called The Big Tease. And maybe I'll pitch that to my agent, because obviously I can't write about how Baker Mayfield, I had a whole title. It was called Feeling Dangerous,
I'm going to give you the storyline.
It went down the tubes.
Excuse me for one second. I'm going to give you the storyline.
Here we go.
Middle of August. Okay, all the hype. The Browns are going to have a good season.
Right.
Baker Mayfield is going to be the next coming of Bernie Kosar and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
He goes with talks to some reporter, and he's talking about that incident with the flag in Columbus, Ohio 2 years earlier. Yes. And he says, they had me apologize that I never really meant it. And from that moment on, he has sucked canal water. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's not this well. He's not the same guy.
Ever since that incident, you know what?
He's not the same guy.
Two words.
He's not his accuracy.
2 words. I'll leave you with these: divine retribution.
Yeah. Well, he was putting the ball right on the numbers last year. Yeah. And now even the balls he's completing are a little bit this way, a little bit that way, a little bit high. He's just.
You write that book. I'll be the first one to buy one.
Well, I'm really thinking about asking my agent if I could write a book called The Big Tease and write a book about this season. I don't think he's going to go with it, but I think that it might be a good idea. The problem is that if I do that and then they start winning next year, it's tough to do.
What book what is your next book? Do you know yet? You've only written 100.
Well, I'm doing this the Ultimate Cleveland Indians Time Machine book. I have already finished the Boston Red Sox Time Machine book and the Chicago Cubs Time Machine book. It's a whole series, and I know about your vendor, your person there that you know about the Chicago. And I'm starting the New York Mets Time Machine book. I'm going to do a series. I'm going to do this book for all the major league teams, or as many as I can. It's already, the publisher is already committed to the Mets one, and so we're going to go from there. But this book is my biggest seller in Cleveland. And
It's unbelievable.
I brought copies of this, and I brought copies of this, and my celebration of animation. I'm the only author ever to actually rank the greatest cartoon characters of all time. I'm a pop culture historian. It's a great book, and if anyone wants any of these books, I'll be here.
All right, so if people that are watching it on YouTube, what do they do? How can they get your
They
book?
can go to gitlinbooks.com.
Can you spell that?
Gitlin books.com, and they can get this book, they get this book, and they can get a celebration of animation on gitlinbooks.com, and I autograph it. My autograph adds 3 cents to the value of these books.
3 cents.
We got it. I got it.
What?
And,
Did you read it?
Yeah, yours.
Thank you.
And I personalize it and I ship it for free. So you can get them
Oh,
for,
well,
you
that's a
know,
good
you
saving.
can't beat it, man. You can't beat it.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield, I'm telling you.
You know what?
getting-
I was surprised. I thought you were going to say he should write a book about the fabulous Boomer Boys.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that
Yeah,
too.
I thought you were headed in that direction.
It's the alpha male again. There you go.
I don't know. Anyway, what do you think, everybody? Marty Gitlin, is this guy?
Thanks, Marty.
Come on.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming.
All right. Okay, Tuesday, November 19th. If you're anywhere near the Van Aken Center here in Shaker Heights, we certainly hope you'll come by because we're going to have Susan Glazer. And Susan hasn't written 100 books, but she's certainly been to at least 100 places to visit as far as travel editor of the Plain Dealer. So I think she's going to be a lot of fun to talk to like Marty was. And we're going to have some audience participation. Let some of the audience ask her about different places that maybe they're thinking of going to visit, and she can answer that.
Sounds good.
So Bruce, as usual, we like to, how's our bodyguard doing? I know he was in the
Bodyguard
hospital.
had surgery. He's doing a little bit better. Pears on the mend. Maybe they'll both be back on the 19th.
Okay, they will be back on the 19th?
I said maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, we hope so.
We hope so.
Thank you all for coming, and those of you here, and don't forget, we're over the 10,000 mark. We want to keep going, so keep putting us in there on YouTube and search the Fabulous
Baker
Boomer Boys.
Mayfield.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.